Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and this is the Game of Thrones Season 8 review. Now, I've done something a little different here. I've done individual videos on each episode. I also did individual live streams that were very long, and not everybody wants to sit through those. So what I've done is taken the 14 hours of live stream and cut it to under 40 minutes. Of course, I'm joined by Dictor Van Doomcock, and of course, the season starts out with high hopes, and you can see those hopes get dashed live. I've kept in all of the visceral reactions. We started the live streams 15 minutes after each episode airs. So please enjoy, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we're getting ready for Game of Thrones, everybody. Welcome, everybody in the chat. This is our Game of Thrones recap. We have been waiting 2 years for this, and it finally arrived. And the sad thing is, we only have 5 episodes to go. But the good news is, everybody, we have a guest. We have the true king of the Seven Kingdoms, Dictor Van Doomcock. What is up?
I've learned that I am a Targaryen too, Doomcock Targaryen. So it's a very exciting thing. And hail, Gary! It has been a long time, my friend. We are gathered here today to celebrate Game of Thrones.
I've been very critical of season 7. The Westeros Express and the Westeros teleportation device pisses me off to no end.
Yes.
And it was funny. I shared my last recap from season 7 with Mrs. Nerdrotic is in that, and I'm bitching the whole time about it. But I got to say, this episode, while not perfect, it felt more like older Game of Thrones than definitely the past season. It did for me. So, and they actually gave Tyrion something to do, Varys a little bit of something to do, and you know they're kind of. It's tough. They're written in a corner because they have a bunch of players who are not going to do any damn good against the army of the dead. No matter how clever Sansa is, I'm not sure what she's going to do. But as far as this episode alone, and we discussed it a little bit, it was a bunch of buildup, but it was done pretty well. I was very entertained. I wasn't bored at any point of it. I only had a problem with one scene. I'm kind of bummed that Bran is still kind of a robot, but some other scenes were really good. And I did like the ending of the episode. I was like, oh, that was good. They got me on that one. So I don't know. What'd you think overall?
I loved it. I thought it was perfectly good, and I've had many problems. I mean, the problems basically for me are all logistical. You know, I mean, unless Westeros is overall the size of Rhode Island, the idea that Gendry could run back from the ice island and go back to the wall and then go ahead and get taken in, and they'd go ahead and get a message to Daenerys, and Daenerys is going to get on the dragons, and the dragons are going to get to help Jon and the rest of them at the finale of this last season was idiotic. So that was a huge problem. And armies just marching hither and yon, and using the Westeros was wise to invest in a BART system.
You could tell they got a bunch more money. It's really obvious that the budget was amped for this one big time, because the credits looked nice, everything looked slick, the sets looked amazing, the special effects were spectacular. Oh my god, Jon rode a dragon tonight. That was cool as hell.
Hail, Gary. Hail to the chat. Hail to YouTubers around the world. I'm Dictor Van Doomcock, and I have seen this latest episode of Game of Thrones, and I am pleased, Gary, to be here to discuss it with you.
I got to ask you, so you've seen the episode, I've seen the episode, and for one, we can't have a Game of Thrones season without an episode leak. So this episode leaked earlier today. A bunch of people saw it earlier today. But the first thing that we brought up together during our very long pre-production meeting here is a filler episode. Really? I mean, I know it had some moments that were cool, but this is a 6-episode season that we've waited 2 years for. It's better than season 7, which I loathe. The thing that bothers me the most that I just have a hard time getting over is Bran. We got confirmation that he is no longer Bran this episode, and we had that big lead up and that great ending from the episode 1 where Jaime sees Bran and then just kind of we got a quick apology, and he says, oh, it's cool, and that's it.
That was a disappointment. That scene in particular was a great disappointment. The things that Jamie could have said to him, the perspective, the wisdom that Bran could have bestowed upon Jamie, just a real waste. That was a huge letdown, that scene.
Yeah, and then they had an opportunity to kind of tell us what Bran is. Now, even as a book reader, I don't entirely know what Bran is. So the three-eyed raven in the books, who by all accounts they haven't come out and said it, but it's Brynden Rivers, who's a Targaryen bastard from way back in the day, still was somewhat himself, was still his person. So Bran, I guess in the show, is just the three-eyed raven, this big wizard, and he's no longer Bran Stark, which kind of, yeah, that's a major disappointment for me. So he's just there to pass on information.
But I mean, she knew, Brandon knew, and she didn't say anything about that. She just said, hey, he's a good guy. I don't know, most of it was okay in terms of, the interactions. I liked the song a lot. I liked Arya getting it on. I think she's smoking hot, so made me very happy. I liked the knighting scene.
Yes,
Brienne, I thought that was great. I like the scene, but there were a lot of things that were kind of flat, and
yeah.
And the thing is, it would be okay if they had released the first 3 episodes, boom, just drop, and you could binge these 3 episodes together as one, fabulous 3-hour experience. Then it wouldn't be so frustrating. But come on, man, it's like the first 2 episodes are largely character setting and at a fairly leisurely pace.
No, the only dread I am feeling, and Nicholas Glenn mentions it in a super chat, which I will get to in a second, is how we may get the Night King dispatched in the 3rd episode, and the big bad will end up being Cersei, which will be, oh god dang, I will be so pissed.
After all these years, I understand that it's been 49 days to shoot this next episode, 49 nights of hell. The long night. So, I mean, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. But if at the end of it, the fucking Night King gets snuffed and all of them fall, and it's like, okay, now what are we going to do?
I know this is a bigger episode, so more people are going to show up, but the Night King definitively dies, then I'm going to have a week worth of videos on my other channel being pissed. Well, I am here with a very special guest and a good friend of the channel and one of the best YouTubers out there, Dictor Van Doomcock. What is up, my friend?
I'm not in a good mood, dude. I'm pretty angry. I'm very upset about this episode. I think it was I just am so disgusted. I can't even fucking talk about it. It's like it's beyond a failure. I feel like I wasted fucking the last 7 years or however long we've been on this fucking thing. I'm just beyond disgusted. I can't fucking talk about it.
I have been warning everybody on the channel. I know some people probably enjoyed the episode, but just hear me out. Hear me out. I am a giant A Song of Ice and Fire fan. I was into this show within the first 5 minutes. I went and got all the books. I read them each twice in 1 year. And I've read all the books multiple times. Now, I am nowhere near a Preston Jacobs expert on them because drugs were very good to me in the 80s, and I have to reread stuff just to remember it. But I'm a giant fan. So I will get to my point. You just killed Darth Vader in the middle of Empire Strikes Back.
I thought it was shot like shit. I thought it was shot like shit, dude. I'm just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Some of the dragon effects were not that great. You can see especially on John, early part in the episode, that ending. So yeah, the Night King is dead. Was killed by Arya. And while that sounds cool and a lot of people are going to be happy about this, it's anticlimactic to the T, to the T. I don't care. Like Dictor Van Doomcock just said, I don't care beyond this. And I feel like, you invest this much time and they do something like this, and you're going to see a great divide in the next coming weeks, months.
I think from start to finish, this episode was complete bungle, just a complete screw up, worthless. I did not give a shit. I didn't know what was going on. There was a few decent shots. Otherwise, it was basically shaky cam, a lot of slapdash editing, a bunch of shit. I didn't give a fuck what happened. I don't even know for sure who's dead and who's alive at this point, and I don't care. I am fucking done with this shit. God damn it. It's like it's fucking Lost all over again. I am so fucking angry. I'm sorry, dude. I can't even articulate it. I can't be funny. I cannot. I am fucking angry.
Raw emotion. That's what we come here to YouTube for. Raw emotion. Well, I figured, it's okay. I saw this coming, man. I saw this coming. I was hoping against hope. I was like, don't do this. But then I think back to Dave and Dan and how they dispatched Littlefinger. I know I talk about it a lot because it really is a bee in my bonnet, to be honest with you. How they dispatched one of the best villains on TV. How these guys are the same writers from season 4. One of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. This is the most disappointed I've ever been in a television show.
I don't know what the fuck I was doing then this entire time. I don't care what happens now.
Jon faced off against the Night King at Hardhome. They set up a battle between them when they stared each other down, and the Night King's all, come at me, bro. And they skirmished a little bit in the with dragons, and Arya comes in at the last minute and kills the Night King. Now there's going to be a lot of slay queen. Great. That's great. And I don't mind Arya killing the Night King in the books when they set up her story properly, when we find out like how she actually gets her power. So how did she become Wolverine/Batman? By fighting the waif with the stick? Because that's all she really did.
Complete and total shit show. But I forgave all of that. But I will not forgive this. This was my hands are trembling with rage.
When time goes on and people get away, and because there's a huge emotional attachment, people get emotionally attached to things. I get emotionally attached to things, and you don't want to see the things you were emotionally attached in for years turn to crap. It's because you feel like I'll keep this to I statements. I feel like a bit of an idiot for telling everybody to watch this show, for backing the show for years, telling everybody to get in this show, doing podcasts on this show forever, going, this is the best show on TV, and it really is some of the best writing, and blah, blah, blah. And now I feel like a total dumbass.
Yeah, me too. But I feel like an idiot because I invested so much in it, and I believed in it so much. And this is bullshit, dude. This is just bullshit.
I pulled this up in my pregame show. I just want to remind everybody that this is the same guy who wrote this. Dan Benioff did this.
No,
that is Deadpool's mouth sewn shut. He wrote Wolverine's origin. So we shouldn't be surprised. I'm going to remind people all the time. So Star Wars fans, do not get your hopes up. Consider my expectations subverted, and consider my interest in this show subverted.
We've been wasting our time for 8 years for this.
Yep, we're pretty fucked.
Yep.
God damn, what a waste of fucking time. Nothing has made any difference. Nothing at all. It's just like, and he'll be coming around the corner when he comes, shoot, pow, and then there it is.
There it is. Dead dragon.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
Hail, Gary. Hail to all of you out there, all you fellow disappointed Game of Thrones fans, and all of you who are still Game of Thrones fans for some reason. You are more forgiving than I. but I cannot forgive this. God damn it. I cannot forgive last week and then this week with a lot of filler, and then boom goes the dragon. Bullshit. Nothing was worth it. All the Dothraki gone. What the fuck was this, Gary? What the fuck was this?
We've done a week on this, on what an utter waste of time it is, and I guess it's time to start asking why. I know there's going to be a lot of you out there who will be joining us this week. After this episode, you were being, no, you guys were too hard on it, blah blah blah. And I understand. I totally understand. I get it. I've been a victim of hypnosis, TM Doomcock, myself. So I'm not judging you, but we'll get some more friends over here. And I that's happened over the course of the week. And I just want to say welcome. And I'm sorry. I knew the show was going downhill. And I guess this is just the acceptance phase. And I was talking to Mahler about this on a live stream yesterday, that I didn't realize it would hit me that hard. Like last episode would hit me that hard. I thought I was kind of checked out on the show anyway, but I guess I cared a little more than I thought I did. And I also feel bad for the other fans who were set up to expect something brilliant. Okay. I mean, and to start blaming fans, which you're going to get, oh, the fans' expectations are too hard, and your theories, expectations are not theories, for one. They are two separate things. People had an expectation to get a good resolution. They didn't expect everybody to survive. They didn't expect everything to go down the way they expected to, but they expected to go, like I said in my pregame, the Red Wedding was horrific. I didn't want it to happen, but it was brilliant. And the way it was executed, for lack of a better term, was brilliant. So although it was a completely horrific act that I hate watching, I've reread it twice in the books, and it's still, each time it's like, oh God, but it's brilliant. And we kind of expected, everything had to be brilliant. We, HBO spent millions of dollars on these episodes. The actors have put in great performances. Unfortunately, they're not written like they were 4 years ago.
No, they're not. I mean, it's ridiculous. Here's the thing. Look, all of these people that are saying, oh, you're just bent out of shape because it didn't unfold like you thought it would or how you wanted it to. Look, nobody on this fucking show has ever watched it thinking that you were always going to be happy. I was never happy after Ned got his, head chopped off. I was not expecting that. I was not wanting it. And I still found it compelling because it was great writing. It was great acting. And I'm not like some spoiled fan that has to have my favorites live. That is ridiculous. And also, I didn't have any great investment in any particular character killing the Night King. It was the lack of execution, the lack of fidelity to the entire narrative. It made no sense. It was not set up properly. Out of the blue, Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Machina, of just having her pop up and kill the Night King. It was the way it was mishandled, and the execution was substandard, so substandard throughout the entirety of the episode that I was insulted as a viewer. I was insulted because I deserve better. After all these fucking years of waiting on this shit and watching it and theorizing about it and loving these characters, to find out it was all a sham. All a sham. All these threads, all these narratives, all these triumphs were meaningless. Not meaningless out of the fact that my favorite characters didn't live or did live or whatever. Meaningless in that there is no narrative thread through this thing. It is just endless random disappointment. Now they've just gone the path of trying to circumvent our expectations rather than to deliver a coherent narrative. And that is my problem.
Welcome back to Nerdrotic, everybody. My name is Gary Bickler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and I am with the future ruler of planet Earth and surrounding systems, Dictor Van Doomcock. How are you, sir?
I am so goddamn angry that I just finished yelling into a microphone for about 8 minutes in the bathroom before I got on here so that I could go ahead and not just lapse into a profanity-laced rant that would just get your channel banned. Look, for them to make Daenerys Targaryen go absolutely bug shit insane. I mean, I'm talking about like Humphrey Bogart in the Kane Mutiny insane, and just deciding burn them all after everything is already won was a goddamn disgrace. Why the fuck did we watch this thing for 8 years?
Everything this episode was sums up what the series has turned into. It's just gone to hell. And maybe, again, I will preface, this is how it ends in the books. Maybe this is really, they knocked it out. That's what George said they were heading towards. But we have to, the context of that is we'd probably have 2 books building up to it where it would maybe make some kind of sense. But when you cram it into 6 episodes, and honestly, they crammed it into 1 episode. She turned last episode. If you thought Anakin turning and, is like, hey, Obi-Wan, you're my best friend, and killing younglings 15 minutes later, that's nothing compared to this.
No, nothing. I mean, we've been 8 years on this shit. And for her to have been so damn hellbent on being regal, on being noble, on making this a planet for the small people, being a champion of the common man, and then to barbecue said common men in a rampant weenie roast of destruction, that where they reuse shots. By the way, it was just all the same. Yep. I mean, dude, look. You thought that the goddamn the long night was anticlimactic. The entire invasion and siege of King's Landing is over, I think, in about 17 minutes. I wasn't timing it, but I mean, I think it was about 15 to 17 minutes.
I timed it. So the initial attack before the bells came on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, exactly. Was 7 minutes and 36 seconds.
I stand corrected. I was giving them twice the amount of credit that they were due. 2 to 3 times the credit they were due. I was being an apologist for this shit, and I hate it. I fucking hate this show now. I'm done.
Oh, God, yes. And it was 36 minutes and roughly 4 seconds before the dragon attacked. I could be, off a couple seconds there. And wow, those ballistas weren't that good the second time around, weren't they? All she had to do was fly low and fly high.
Oh, it was so dumb.
Armor. So,
yeah.
Yes, you called it. You said the dragon was going to have a bunch of plot armor. It did. All the ballistas, scorpions were toast. And Cersei just stood there and cried. And poor Lena Headey, she was barely in the show. She was in the show. The big bad that was Cersei. That was obviously wrong.
She just stood there with one expression that was slowly dialing down like a light on a dimmer switch. I mean, basically that was it. And then they did a dropper of some tears in her eye, in one eye. So she did the solitary tear thing. Oh, joy.
Also, the reuse shots, we were discussing this right before in our very long pre-production meeting, at least 30 seconds, that we talked about them reusing shots. The archers was a reuse shot. The town exploding was it looked like reuse shots. So
all
if it wasn't,
time, dude. Yeah. All the time it looked like it. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't keeping that track. I was too busy rolling my eyes and getting disgusted, but it seemed to me like, oh, Jesus, this is redundant. Oh, my God.
It absolutely is. And thank you for all the super chats. We have the biggest crowd I've ever seen here at Nerdrotic. Wow, Arya Stark snuck in to the city with her face. She could use somebody else's face.
Yeah, she just strolls in. With the Hound, one of those famous people are in the area. Everybody knew the Hound. Everybody should have known Arya. But they knew the Hound, and he's just la la la. And fuck, Jamie, the same thing. He just had a hood on, and he's like, hey, Jamie Lannister, dude, what's up? No, it was all good. And then here, get this. So Arya, you think that they changed Daenerys. Well, Arya, at the critical juncture where she says, I'm going to go kill Cersei, the Hound grabs her and says, no, look at me. Do you want to wind up like me? And she goes, oh my God, she converted faster than somebody getting a copy of the Watchtower at her door. I mean, she like suddenly saw Jesus and she said, you're right. My whole life has been misguided. I'm going to go ahead and become a protector of women and children, and was like nursemaiding them. And then we had about 10 minutes at the end where she pets a horse, I think, or something. She pets
a little horsey lived, so everybody's happy. By the way, happy Mother's Day, everybody. HBO continues their tradition of slaying people on Father's and Mother's Day. Of course, Tywin Lannister, I believe, was killed on Father's Day. And in Westworld Season 2, William killed his daughter on Father's Day. And now we kill Cersei on Mother's Day while she's pregnant. HBO, gotta love them. Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, and I'm also with a co-host from the center of the earth, the future ruler of the 6 kingdoms and the protector of the realm, and the one true king, Dictor Van Doomcock. What is up?
My ire is up. My anger is up. Also, I think I hurt my head falling asleep when I fell off the couch and slammed my head onto the hard stone floor. Jesus Christ. Has there ever been a more pointed example of a thing that is both enraging and soporifically boring? I can't fucking think of a time when I was so angry and yet also lulled into a coma. Fuck.
Yeah, it was boring. I was worried about this, and I talked about it on pre-Game of Thrones. I'm like, from what the spoilers said, which were 100% correct, by the way, it sounded boring, and it certainly was. I can tell you right now, because I'm kind of a stickler for this, that Daenerys, there was a lot of walking slowly. So we started the episode with Tyrion walking slowly, and then Tyrion and Jon look at each other, and then they separately walk slowly and continue to walk slowly. And then Tyrion looks a little worried, and then he continues to walk slowly. And then he goes and digs out his dead brother. That was 14 minutes to get to a dead Cersei and Jaime. We're at 14:05. Then Hitler comes out and gives her speech about how she's going to free the world by killing and burning all the children. Tyrion mans up, and does all that. When Jon, let's just cut to the chase here. When Jon kills Daenerys, sorry, spoiler warning. Jon kills Daenerys. I don't even care. Is at 44 minutes. So we were halfway through the episode, and it was McQueen. I'm going to have to kill McQueen. And then Tyrion has to talk him into it. Tyrion, of course, gets taken prisoner. Jon goes and visits him and starts to cry. He cries half the episode. McQueen. By the way, Bran is king. And the reason they chose him because he knows stories. So it sounds like George R. Martin, making himself king, jerking himself off, saying, yeah, stories are what guide the world. And hey, they can also, I guess, ruin the world when they're bad stories, because this was a bad story. This turned into a bad story.
Boy, you just knew that old Sam was going to be writing a game of ice, a song of ice and fire. You just fucking knew it. Didn't you? Everything. Was there anything in this that even if they hadn't been spoilers, wouldn't have been telegraphed painfully?
And I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Did they think that Winds of Winter would solve all their problems? Listen, they threw away so many great George R. R. Martin chapters that they could have made the end of the story. They could have just had, Jon's death, basically his resurrection, the beginning of the end. They could have started it there and did the siege of Winterfell with the Boltons and the fake wedding to Arya. They could have done all that stuff. They had plenty of material. So if I hear them say they ran out of material, no, they threw away Lady Stoneheart, the entire Dorne storyline. They subverted the Dorne storyline just so they can have an all-female war council. And yeah, that one sticks in my craw a little bit. It's total crap. And then to say at the end of this show that it's stories that guide us and stories, so we're gonna make Bran the king because he can tell a good story. Well, what happens if it's a really bad one?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's is that good storytelling? Honestly, that Bran can't even be bothered to even notice what the fuck is going on, and he's gonna be crafting a compelling narrative. I mean, it's just a goddamn joke, dude. It is painful. When he stabs Daenerys, You saw it coming a mile away. It was painful. It was the most anticlimactic way you could have possibly handled that scene. The most. After it took, like, how long were we in the cell with Tyrion when he's like talking about it, and Jon keeps saying, she's my queen. I can't. And then he goes and does it. And it's just in the most painfully obvious way possible.
This wasn't episode 3 of season 4. This was the final episode of Game of Thrones, and all Jon's lines were this whole season was, I don't want it. You're my queen. I don't want it. What a waste of a great show.
Tragic fucking waste. Nothing happened really in this episode of note. It was glacially paced. There was not one sincere, compelling moment. Not even when, what the fuck is Tyrion crying about? When he sees Cersei's face and you know, there, and also, wasn't it amazingly convenient how they were crushed, but didn't have their beautiful features marred in the slightest?
And the worst part. Okay, so when they make Bran king, apparently all of these events had to happen the way they happened. Everybody had all these pieces had to be moved so Bran could become king. It was his desire to become king, and he told people you were exactly where you had to be. So he knew what was going to happen, and he just had to stay and watch. I don't know what was the point of that, though. Is he going to be? It doesn't look like he's going to be that great of a king. And where we end the series, you could. I mean, I don't want one with these writers, but you could have a sequel to this. I mean, they've left it so open to where you could definitely, continue the story. Maybe that was George's intention, just wasn't pulled off. And you're going to hear that a lot. Maybe it was George's intention. Well, George is not Dan and Dave, obviously. And they, again, were not up to snuff. And this was like watching a slow car wreck. And it did not disappoint in that aspect. It was a total train wreck, and I'm sure there's people out there who love it. And Jon finally pet Ghost. Yay. Pet his doggo. Jon's in the freaking Night's Watch. Why do you need a Night's Watch?
That's a good point. Although, didn't he just piss off North? So he's not actually in the Night Watch, right? I mean, he basically just left, right?
He just bailed. So, and speaking of pissing off, that King's Council. All right, so after Daenerys gets killed, everybody's just cool at that point.
Right.
Everybody's just cool. Tyrion's still alive. Jon is taken prisoner. The Westeros Express brings everybody down. Tyrion's beard's a little longer. Jon's still crying in his cell.
It's fucking horrible. I mean, look, so basically, Tyrion is he wakes up and they take him out to this council. And suddenly it's spring. It's not winter anymore. I mean, the sun's shining.
For one day.
It was basically, it was a long day's winter, as the Beatles sang. And he comes out there and he's in chains, and they're debating, like, are they going to kill Jon Snow? Are they going to let him kill Jon Snow? And then here's, Tyrion, and he's a prisoner and he's going to be executed. But then, lo and behold, they start listening to him, and he basically starts rearranging the entire power structure and nominates Bran for king, and Bran becomes king. And he's standing there, basically in chains and a prisoner, but he's holding them all captive, just a captive audience, spellbound by his eloquence and his bullshit in an endless scene that I'm still not entirely convinced has ended. I think
it's still going, actually.
I think it feels like it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Really? Think about it, dude. I mean,
I don't even know where to start, man. I think we knew it would fall apart. We knew it would fall apart badly. And still, and maybe this was just my naivete, I didn't think it would fall apart this badly. I really didn't. I just, oh my God.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I don't know if you know about this, but I decided, because I recorded me and a friend of mine who watched the episode live, and the first thing I noticed, because we were doing it through a streaming service that was lagging like crazy, and so the idea is we could watch 1 minute and then wait a minute and then watch a minute and then wait a minute. Now, when you're at that point, you start to notice how much content there is, because what you do is you watch that minute and then you talk about that minute. And the first like 3 minutes are just Tyrion walking. So we were like, okay, it's a cinematic opening, you know, it's fine. That's what we're going with. It's going to be great. And then we started to notice a lot more of it. And I made this joke in that recording where I was like, I'm going to make a supercut where it's just all the non-dialogue bits, just to see how much there was. And then I decided later on, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. And I did do it. I tried to release it, and obviously the copyright struck me, so I just warped it a bit, and it's on my channel now, but it comes to 57 minutes in the episode of characters either walking, looking, sitting, or moving pages, bringing up a sword. 57 minutes.
No way.
You can find it on my Moolah channel. I've literally got it there for proof. I'm like, it's proof. Go look at it.
And that sucks. That sucks. I've been with these characters for so freaking long. And so these writers wanted to rush on out of here and get to Star Wars and get to doing their other things without finishing what really made them famous, what really gave them all that juice to get all these new jobs. You got to finish the job, boys. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And this is going to be remembered forever as the biggest whiff of all time. This might be the biggest whiff in television history. HBO paid hundreds of millions of dollars. You swing and you miss. And thank you to Dictor Van Doomcock. Please subscribe. He is one of the best YouTubers around and a good friend. And also, thank you to Mahler, another great YouTuber. Please subscribe to them both. And thank you to both of them for joining me for Game of Thrones Season 8. It has been quite a ride here, and we have a lot of new friends, so I am very grateful for that. But if you are interested, please listen to all of the full live streams. They are on my channel, and they will be linked in the description. Please go to nerdrotic.com for my live stream schedule. We cover a lot of TV shows. Good Omens is coming up. That looks like an actual good TV show. Everybody have a great day, and may the free folk sing songs of your greatness.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.